Thank you to everyone who watched my first video, which was an entry into Forever Will Films Why Are You an Antinatalist contest. Especially thank you to everyone who voted for the video. It means a lot to me. I'll try to update this channel as often as I can. I've noticed that most of the people who update YouTube regularly usually do not have 9-to-5 jobs. You don't have time to do this kind of thing. So besides my 9-to-5 job, I also do freelance work, so I really have almost no free time. But I still will update this thing, even if it's once a month. I'll still try to put something out whenever I have time. On my first video, I had to combine visiting my mother at her assisted living facility with the making of the video because I just didn't have time to shoot any extra footage. So likewise, I had this freelance assignment, and I thought that I could somehow get an antinatalist video out of this, kind of because of the subject matter. So I think this is going to be an album cover. Some guy from the UK just found me on the internet and hired me to draw this for him. He said he wanted a baby. They wanted a baby holding his umbilical cord, still attached to his mother, water skiing in front of like a tiki village. So this was fun to draw, to say the least. Kind of a disturbing image. When I talked to this client, I thought that the baby should have like a look of horror on his face. You know, like he's being thrust into this horrible world and he's asked to do this trick, you know. But the client actually wanted him to have like a peaceful Mona Lisa smile going. So the client's always right. So that's what I drew. Personally, if this was me, instead of a tiki village, I'd probably have like hydrogen bombs or something going off on the island, something terrible, some kind of war or something. There'd be sharks in the water. I was also inspired to make this video because if you go back to Amendham's channel like 10 years ago when he first started out, he was making these draw and talk videos where he'd draw a picture and talk philosophy. So I thought that was really cool. And I draw a lot, so that's something I can do. You know, unfortunately, I can't release this image into the public domain and let people use it because it's for a specific client. I will do drawings in the future that will be just totally by me, my ideas, and then people can use them for antinatalist publications or whatever they want. Alright, so let's talk art for a few minutes. I've been drawing since I was a little kid. My parents gave us an unlimited supply of paper and crayons. My mom worked at a computer center, so we always had just piles and piles of paper, big pieces of paper, and they're all kind of attached because back then this was the time of dot matrix printers, so all the paper was kind of linked together, so I could do, you know, door-sized pictures. And I swear, if I didn't have that, and they also gave me a drawing table, that's really how I became an artist, because it's just a way to pass the time. And then when I discovered comic books, it was like, wow, this is what people who can draw can do for a living. And I did try to break into the industry at one point, but I really was not good enough or fast enough, and I'm still pretty slow. You'll notice watching this video that my clothes change about 3 times, because I worked on this, you know, an hour here, hour there, over a weekend. Also, I didn't even show you the part where I was drawing the picture. Yeah, I didn't think about making this video until after I'd already drawn it in pencil. That only took me a couple hours. So I use Speedball Super Black India ink for now. I used to use Higgins, but I really prefer the Speedball. Although I found I'm going to have to stop using this version of Speedball's ink because, like pretty much all India ink, it contains animal products. It contains shellac, which is used from mushing up beetles. And yeah, some people say, oh, it's a minor thing, there's bugs, but, you know, it's just, I'm against exploitation of animals, period, so I'm not going to buy something that has crushed bugs in it. And I guess Speedball makes an acrylic ink that is vegan, so I'm going to try that, and maybe I'll do a drawing with that sometime, but I think it'll probably take me a while to run through all of this. I mean, I bought all this stuff years ago. So one of the most important things you want to do is tape down your ink bottle when you're doing inking. You know, just trust me from experience, this stuff does not come out of carpeting. So I use a number 2 brush. This is a sable brush. It's just another leftover piece of art equipment from before I was vegan. I do have some synthetic brushes, and I'm going to be getting some more of them. I just haven't really tested all of them out. I tend to like this one. You know, I've had it for years. Works great. I'm just not going to be buying any more of it. And another vegan option, of course, are these metal nibs. Speedball makes a whole set you can buy. I use these for fine detail. There's not a lot of cross-hatching in this image, so I use it very sparingly. Mostly use just a Sharpie pen. This is my electric eraser. I got a whole bunch of erasers that I use. Just depends on the line you need to get rid of. Some of these are nice and angled. I like them a lot. And there's my pencil, and of course you gotta have a trusty pencil sharpener. So as I said, I first drew the picture in pencil, and I do it small, just on a piece of 11 by 8.5 piece of paper. Kind of helps to draw it smaller because you kind of see the whole picture. If you draw too big, you kind of get fixated on details and lose sight of the overall image. So I like to draw it small. I scan it in the computer and then print it out on a large piece of paper. This is 11 by 17. And I print it out in a light blue because when you scan it back in, it's really easy to take the blue out and you just have the ink on top. This is a common trick that comic book artists use all the time. So then I go back here. Now it's blown up, I'm noticing a couple problems. I want to make the water a little sharper on the edges, and I realized I kind of just drew blobs for his hands, so I had to fix that. Add a little detail here and there. And then we are ready to start inking. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I am a professional artist. That's been a dream of mine, since I was a kid. So I still do have dreams. So I want to work in comics and that kind of thing. But just being able to be paid to be an artist was something I didn't know that was even going to be achievable. When I went to college, it was a fine arts program. They're seriously trying to prepare people to be like gallery artists and stuff. It was terrible. I didn't understand, so I ended up double majoring in art and English literature because I was like, well, maybe I'll be a writer instead. I like writing. But yeah, the art program in school was terrible. It didn't teach you how to be an illustrator. It didn't teach you how to be a commercial artist or actually make money at it. Drawing is just one of those things that's always given me a lot of pleasure in life, one of the few things. I think because you can kind of disappear into your own world, you can create your own world. I know a lot of my fellow YouTube antinatalists like Glennos, Forever with Films, and Emendum are all artists. It's just something people who like escapism like to do, disappear in our own worlds, make a better world, for one thing. You can kind of have wish fulfillment. Why are people so obsessed with drawing superheroes and reading about superheroes? It's because these are characters who can right wrongs. They can actually change the world. It's something that we all want to do. Unfortunately, I am a perfectionist. This is why doing art can actually cause a lot of stress in my life. In the end, it's more fulfilling than it's stressful, so that's why I still do it. But sometimes if you just have something in your head and you just can't get it out, it can be tough. And of course, with my job, I have deadlines all the time. Like for this piece, I had, it was a soft deadline, but it's still a deadline. I had to get this thing done and move on to the next project. So it's stressful because it's all, you're trying to watch TV or something and just hang out, but it's like, oh, I got this thing I got to do. Yeah, so my interpretation of this image is, from an antinatalist point, is that this person is feeling horror. He's been thrust out into a world he doesn't understand. He's been asked to do a little dance on a tiny ski in the ocean. He's still tied to his mother as a young person. So I kind of like that analogy. The client probably has other ideas. So if I could see this, from a comic book artist's perspective, as a series, like, okay, this is the first image, or maybe the first one might be his parents having sex, not using protection, unfortunately. And then maybe the third one will be him as an adult man crashing, falling into the water, maybe getting eaten by sharks. But of course, there should be one before that, where he's throwing his sperm out into the world, yeah, ejaculating or something, and impregnating someone else, and keeping this disaster of life going on and on. And then, of course, the last one would be, you know, his rotting bones at the bottom of the ocean. This is what parents are saying to us, you know, come take a ride. Yeah, it'll be kind of bumpy. You could drown, you could be eaten by sharks, but it's just great. The water's just fine. Come on in. Oh, it's so ridiculous. And you know, then the mom's going to take off in her boat and not even going to be around for the second half, by the way. Parents really are the ultimate imposing assholes. Early in my life, I just wanted to get some kind of recognition for my art. I was always voted the most artistic at my school, but that didn't really mean anything to me, because not that many, I was in a small school, not that many other people did art. But you know, now that I'm older, I really just want to find a way to combine art, activism, and of course money somehow. That's basically the dream. Maybe I can get two of those. The art I do now for my job, I basically make computer-generated videos for one of the big 3 automakers. Been doing that for like the last 6 years or so. It is fulfilling in a way, even though I'm doing a product. You know, I still can decide on the lighting, some of the texture, landscape, color, these kind of things. You know, that still give me artistic fulfillment. You know, even though it's corporate art. You know, I've also done art where there was zero artistic flexibility. I was just creating a commodity. And you know, I like the stuff I'm doing now. It's not trying to sell something. It's for people who've already bought the car. They want to know how to use it and that kind of thing. So it's not as bad. Work in the art department of a photography studio, and then the photography studio is in turn owned by an ad agency, of course, and the ad agency answers to, you know, our clients. They're not all car companies. You can tell where I live just by me telling who our main client is. But we have other clients who do vacuums, you know, a lot of mechanical stuff that computer-generated art really lends itself to. So hopefully you can see some of my computer-generated art in videos to come. I always want to do a work to be remembered by. I guess that's searching for fame. You know, I was already a vegan, an atheist, and anti-nihilist when I discovered Emendam's channel on YouTube. But one thing he did give me is he helped me realize that a lot of my goals, like wanting to be famous, were just superficial nonsense and part of the ego. Understanding that has actually really helped with my anxiety, because I can just let it go. You know, I still back in my head, I still want that, of course, but now I would only want that so I could be a voice for the unborn, for the animals. There's so many famous people, they just totally waste their fame, their notoriety. You know, I think Sam Harris is kind of one of those people who could do so much more with it. You know, I always thought of my art as my children. You know, I'll never need to actually produce a human being to create something. It's just, all you have to do is ejaculate to do that. You know, if you actually put your heart and soul into a piece of art, you know, it can definitely live beyond you. And it's something I'd much rather spend my time doing than just creating another piece of shit human being. Yeah, so thank you for listening.